Class 8, Chapter 4, Materials. We are going to study today about metals, non-metals and metalloids. I hope you will try to read your textbook and try to understand these things also, as well as listening to this particular presentation. Now here we have materials are made up of atoms and molecules. If materials are made up of only one type of atoms, they are called elements. And materials can exist in any of the three main states, like solid or liquid or gas. Most of the solids you find around you. Liquids, normally we drink water, coffee, etc. But lot of water bodies like rivers, then oceans are all liquids. Gases are also there. You find the atmosphere containing a number of gases. All this we can study in the chemistry in different forms. But for today's case, we will just study major important what we call the qualities of. Now here is the periodic table of elements. It shows how the materials are completely classified. You see here the blue color indicates the metals. Each of the metal is given a symbol. You study that later on, you will understand that. And then the green ones are all the non-metals, which I told you about, the like carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, all these are all non-metals. And the brown ones, what you find here, are all called the metalloids, that is in between the solid and the liquids. We will study what it is maybe in the next classes. Now here, properties of matter can be studied on two levels. One, the physical level and the chemical level. Physical level includes its appearance, how it looks like, what color it has, etc. And the texture indicate when you touch it whether you find it smooth, hard, whether it is very slippery or not slippery. All these things are called the texture. Chemically, we can say the composition, means how many types of atoms are made in the particular material. It's called composition, whether it is only one type or many type of molecules. That is the chemical composition. Reactions. You know, materials are in contact with atmosphere. It contains oxygen, it contains carbon dioxide, it contains nitrogen, it contains moisture, it also has heat coming from the solar. All these things are there. Whether these materials can react with them, we have to study. Now, materials, if you look at it in a very different angle, we can classify them into 95 metals. In the world, there are 95 metals. Most of them are solids, except maybe three. One of them is a liquid. Two others are in slightly different forms. We shall study them. They are called soft metals. Now 17 are non-metals. All of them exist in the form of gases, liquids and solids. You find out that both the living animals and plants and all the living materials are made up of these non-metals. There are 7 metalloids. They are used in different industries, especially in the computer industry. Now here I have shown three images, A, B and C. A showing the metals which can be made into different shapes. Now in B I have materials made out of different types of materials like plastic, steel, then stainless steel, then heavy plastic and the molded plastic, the computer screen. All these are all different materials. And then here is one material, image C, that shows the blue color material, and then there is a black one. Inside that there will be what they call chips. They are made out of silicons. You find here metals of various shapes and wire-like structure. They are beaten into sheets and there are very thin copper wires. All these things are metals. Here is also a metal, and that is in the form of a ring. That may be a magnet, I think. Physical properties of metals. Metals, when you study them, you may look at the physical properties like texture, lustrous, and then malleability, ductility, whether it is good conductor or not, and sonorous, that means special property of that makes the sound. Texture refers to the touch. When you touch the metal, you can say whether it is soft, hard, etc., and whether it got a very uh, soft to touch or hard to touch. Like iron, if you touch it, you feel very rough. When you touch silver, it becomes very, very soft. That is called the texture. Luster refers to the shining part of it. Most of the metals, good metals like gold, silver, aluminium, copper, they have the shining surface. Malleability refers to the quality where metals can be drawn into, uh, can be beaten into sheets. You can make them sheets. You have seen the copper thin sheets. You have seen the gold foils, aluminium foils. You have seen they're all that is due to the malleability where the molecules can spread themselves into thin sheets. Ductility refers to the property where you can draw them into very thin wires. You have seen copper wires, you have seen aluminum wire used in various electrical properties, electrical materials. That's called ductility. They are all good conductors. That means you have seen that if you take a metal rod and heat at one end, after some time, the heat, you can feel the heat at the other end. That means heat is traveling from one end to other end. That's called a good conductor. Whereas non-metals are not. That's why metal wires are used in the electricity also. They make special sound. You know, in your school you have seen they ring the bell using a rod, special rod, and then beat it with something. That's called the sonorous property of the metals. Now I have shown you here metals: gold, silver, platinum, lead, uranium, copper, sodium. Copper is reddish in color, silver is white in color, gold is called the gold color itself. Like that, there are different colors. Gold is very, very soft, and whereas the copper is very hard, sodium is very soft. Now we come into non-metals. We have oxygen, hydrogen, nitrogen, chlorine, they're all gases. Carbon is a black solid. Sulfur is a yellow solid. Bromine is a liquid. They can exist in different forms. Metalloids, silicon is one example, germanium, polonium, antimony, boron. Now these are the three different types of materials we have on the planet. Non-metals have some properties which are exactly opposite of the metals. They lack luster. Non-metals do not shine. There is no shining surface. They are not malleable. We cannot make them into sheets. We cannot make carbon into a sheet. We cannot make sulfur into a sheet. And the gases cannot be made into sheets. Ductility. Those non-metals cannot be drawn into thin wires, and they are not good conductors of heat or good conductors of electricity. They do not produce any special sound. That means all the sounds, all the physical properties that were present in the metals are not seen in the non-metals. They are exactly opposite. That is one of the reasons you can call them non-metals. Now a few examples are given. Metals react with acids and they produce salts of the metals and hydrogen gas. Generally, non-metals do not react with acids. Some metals react with bases and they produce hydrogen gas. On burning, metals react with oxygen. When you burn a metal with oxygen and in presence of oxygen, it produces oxides of the metal. Non-metals also produce oxides, whereas metals, they produce oxides which are basic in nature. Non-metals produce oxides that are acidic in nature. Metals react with water, some of them, especially we have seen sodium reacting with water, and iron can react with water, whereas non-metals do not react with water. And now some chemical equations are given for you to understand that here. Magnesium is a metal. It burns in oxygen, producing magnesium oxide. Iron, when it reacts with moisture containing oxygen, it becomes iron rust, called ferric oxide. Copper, when it reacts with water containing some gases, it becomes a green colored material, a complex, and that you have seen in the copper vessels. Sulfur is a non-metal. When it burns in air, it produces a powder. When it reacts with water, it becomes sulfurous acid. That means both the metals and non-metals have the capacity to burn in water. They burn in oxygen. They can react with water. Metal oxides are basic in nature. Non-metal oxides are acidic in nature. That means when you take the aqueous solution of metallic oxide, they turn red litmus blue, and non-metallic oxide turns blue litmus red. Metals, I told you there are 95 metals. Some of them are very reactive, some of them are very less reactive. When metals are subjected to react with aqueous solutions of any other metal, then there will be a thing called displacement. More reactive metals displace the in the aqueous solution, the less reactive metals. Say for example, when copper sulfate is a blue solution, that is a aqueous solution made in water, and if you put zinc granules, metals in that, after some time copper deposits on the zinc and zinc becomes copper color, that is called displacement. Similarly, when you take copper sulfate and put iron nails in that one, after some time copper deposits on the iron, iron becomes almost copper color, that is also called displacement. Reaction 3, reaction 4, reaction 5, we use zinc sulfate and copper, we use iron sulfate and copper turnings, we use zinc sulfate and iron nail. In this case, there is no displacement reaction because the a lesser reactive, that is zinc, cannot displace copper, iron cannot displace copper, zinc cannot displace copper. Here is a chart showing most reactive metal potassium and less reactive metal iron, that is AU is gold. Now you see here is a red arrow indicating the reactivity starts from here very red and it becomes slowly less red and ultimately it merges with the white and becomes white, showing it is less reactive. That means some metals are very reactive, some metals like gold are non-reactive and they're less reactive. That's why people use gold, they use silver, but people don't use mercury. They may use copper, but copper is not harmful to human. You can guess the uses of metals. You find metals are used in almost every aspect of our life, and there is no part where you don't find metals at all. Aeroplane, scooter, car, table fan, trains, satellites, industries, everywhere, cooking vessels, everything is made out of uh, metals. Now looking at the non-metals like oxygen, carbon, nitrogen, hydrogen, you may be wondering where are these materials. You and I are made up of carbon, hydrogen and nitrogen, and that means all the living beings are made out of the combination of these four important non-metals, and they form the life also. And you find, where do you find these materials? We find them in the nature. Mother Earth contains both the metals, non-metals and the metalloids. You can understand the importance of preserving our nature and our mother, because life is formed by the non-metals and life is given by metals. Ultimately, you must be familiar to use how these materials in our daily life to make your life comfortable. I would like to thank all the people who helped us in making this thing. I've taken some images from your textbooks. I've taken images from the net. I've taken images from the textbook of Diksha, some information from your textbooks, and some information from network. I request you to read your textbook, because in the hurry we must have made some mistakes here and there. So I would like you to correct those things and try to answer your questions given in the textbooks, and try to ask simple questions about how metals and non-metals are useful to us in our daily life.